everybody, it's Sal and Sue here. We're here for our first official video of the 2021 gardening tutorials. So this year we're going to be going a little bit deeper into a couple different topics. We're going to talk a little bit more about soil health and composting. We're going to talk some more about pollinators and just promoting biodiversity in your gardens. We're going to be talking more about seed saving. And then we're also going to be talking more about just some cooking and preservation and fun things to do with all of the great produce that you're growing. So let's head on into our garden and take a look.
Weeks ago we decided to do some early season planting, so I just wanted to show you that the spinach and the peas that we planted are coming up. So the peas are here, and here's some spinach. So they are looking a little bit dry though, so I think we're going to come out and water them. And we're also going to take a look at our compost pile. It's a good idea when you're out in the garden to just take a look at your compost pile on a regular basis and see what it needs. So our compost pile is also kind of dry. So while we're out here watering our little seedlings, we're going to water the compost pile too. So the more you can keep it moist and mixed, the faster it's going to break down. This pile is starting to get there, but if we keep checking in on it and mixing it and making sure it's wet, then we're going to have compost a lot sooner. One of the things that's kind of fun about compost is that as it's breaking down and turning into a really good soil additive, it also, in the decomposition process, it loses a lot of volume. So last year this pile was, up to the top of the fence. As you can see, it's lost a lot of volume here. It'll get a little bit smaller yet before it's ready to use.
So another reason that we're going to be wanting to check out our compost pile early in the season is that now that our beds are worked up, we're going to want to add some soil amendments just to make sure that we've got really healthy soil that's going to keep our plants thriving and just giving them a lot of fertility. So even though our garden was made of a lot of compost, we brought in a lot of compost and topsoil, the plants take in a lot of that over the course of one season. So if you're going into your second season of gardening, you'll want to see if you can find some compost or some well-rotted manure or just some other types of soil amendments to make sure that your soil stays healthy. And another thing that you're going to want to do is think about where you're going to plant your plants this year. So you don't necessarily want to put them in exactly the same beds or the same spots that you had them last year. This can cause some disease or pest problems, as well as deplete the kind of same nutrients that the plants were taking in last year. So you're going to kind of want to rotate them all around. And we can show a map of our garden that has this year's plants listed in red, and then everything we had planted last year in black. So you can see that we're going to be shifting around based on our plant families. And if you want a refresher on plant families, you can take a look at last year's video number 3, where we talk about the different characteristics of plant families.
Yeah, and as far as the garden planning and the map goes, check out our winter backyard gardening series. We had some people talking about how they do their garden planning and how they do their record keeping. They gave some really great ideas. We will be providing a lot of resources and putting links right in the comments below the video.
Alright, so we've got a fun weed growing here that we didn't talk about last season. So this one you'll notice I am not going to touch because it is called stinging nettle. So this plant you may be familiar with. If you accidentally brush against it, it will cause some stinging, maybe even a rash. Something that I like about nettle is that it's edible, which my favorite weeds are always edible weeds. So this is a super nice plant for really early in the season. It's an early grower and you can harvest it, and you'll just want to make sure that you cook it so that it doesn't sting you. But if you dry it or you boil it or blanch it, it cooks away any of the stinging parts and it's totally edible. It's just a really nice spring green. But you will want to make sure that you do something with the nettle because it is a perennial, so it's going to keep coming back. So you either want to dig it out and get it out of your garden if you have it nearby, or you can just eat it and take care of it that way.
We'd also like to make sure to invite you to our upcoming happy hour. We're going to be doing happy hours every second Thursday starting in May. So the first one will be May 13th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Right out here. We'll be at the garden and then we'll be here on the patio. So we'd love to have you join us.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already to hear about new videos coming up. And as always, these videos are created for free because everybody should be able to learn about how to start their own garden. We are a nonprofit though, so if you would like to consider making a donation to help fund videos like this, you can head over to Farm Table's webpage at www.farmtablefoundation.org and click the donate button on top. Just make a note that it's for the